Indie Author Lab from the Alliance of Independent Authors is a brand new in-person event for indie authors during London Book Fair Week. Taking place in London on March 11, 2026, it's a full day of mentoring, workshops, and community connection. Created for indie authors by indie authors. Learn more and secure your tickets at selfpublishingadvice.org/indieauthorlab. Welcome to Self-Publishing with ALLi, proudly sponsored by Publish Me, helping indie authors succeed globally with expert translation, tailored marketing, and publishing support. From first draft to international launch, Publish Me ensures your book reaches readers everywhere. Visit publishme.me. And now, here's your host for Self-Publishing with ALLi, Dan Holloway.
Hello and welcome to another self-publishing news podcast from what feels like possibly the first day of spring here in Oxford. The Oxford Stone is looking fantastic, and all our wonderful libraries are looking absolutely resplendent with the dust from ancient books flickering through the rays of sunlight through the windows. So, with that audio description of what it's like here in Oxford, I hope I have set the tone for what appears to be another week, interestingly, where most of the news is focused on audio. And as we build up to London Book Fair, it's interesting to think that maybe it is going to be audio and not AI that dominates the news at London Book Fair and all the proceedings. But we will begin with something that combines the two, and that is news from ElevenLabs. So ElevenLabs, of course, is the giant AI-generated voice platform. It generates all kinds of voices in all kinds of languages, all kinds of accents, and has earned its multi-billion pound or dollar valuation from its partnerships with platforms such as Spotify. And this week it has announced another new audiobook related product or platform, and this time it's in-house. It's part of the 11 Creative Suite, which is open to creators who want to use all the tools at ElevenLabs' disposal to help them to use AI-generated voices in their creative work. And it is imaginatively called Audiobooks. So I wonder if you can guess what it does. That's right. It is aimed squarely at indie authors as well as publishers. And it is from manuscript to audiobook in one workflow. That's the promise that it offers. Interestingly, it's not just a production tool. It is also a distribution tool. So it distributes to Eleven Reader, which is the audiobook reading app that ElevenLabs has, but also it promises to get its books out there to other audiobook channels. And you will get a single dashboard through which you can control where you want your book distributed, and you can monitor your sales, all the usual things you would expect from a distribution platform and its dashboard. So there we go, ElevenLabs is entering the audiobook creation marketplace full on and making itself available to indie authors to create their audiobooks and distribute them in voices and languages and accents of their choosing, including, of course, as you can do through ElevenLabs, a clone of your own voice. So you can speak to it. It will then clone your voice, and you can use that to narrate your own audiobooks in AI or something. More audiobook news, this time from Audible. So from ElevenLabs we have end-to-end. From Audible we have not as much of an obviously does what it says on the tin kind of product, but what they are calling immersion reading. Immersion reading it's an interesting, it wrangles a little bit with the bit of me that works in the linguistics faculty. I sort of want to think of it as immersive reading or something like that. Immersion reading feels like that's just two nouns strung together to make a thing, and that's not really a thing. But anyway, you get the message, or maybe you don't. The actual technical name for the feature is read and listen, and that's a lot clearer. So what this is, it's a new tool from Audible, and it essentially means that if you, as a consumer, own the Audible audiobook and the Kindle ebook, you can switch seamlessly between the two, or you can use them together. And this will no doubt ring a bell for all those platforms that we've seen launch similar things recently, such as Spotify's Page Match, which allowed you to switch between a physical book and the audiobook. And the way it works is that you can listen to your audiobook. The ebook will sort of read along with you and highlight the word that is being read in the audiobook as you read, and this apparently gives an immersion reading experience. It also means that you can do everything within the Audible environment. I did have to laugh when Andy Chow, Chief Product Officer at Audible, made it sound like a fabulous new invention that Audible had come up with, and he expressed it thusly: "Now at Audible, you can read with your eyes too." Yeah, so there we go. Amazon has just invented reading with your eyes. Who would have thought? So yeah, basically this means that you can follow along. So it's very similar in a way to sort of like Audible Captions, only what it doesn't do, that Audible Captions was going to do, and other conversion things do, is cut down on royalty payments, because this requires you to have bought both things. So you need to own both the ebook and the audiobook to use this. And interestingly, Audible's press release is very, very, very clear on this. It is, let me see, yes, the very last statement in the press release said publishers will not see changes to related royalty payments. And that is a very important marketing point. They clearly realise just how upset people get when they think they own the rights to the ebook and the audiobook separately, and then firms are collapsing that. And they are trying to reassure people that that is not what's happening here. In order to use this feature, you have to own both and pay a royalty on both. Mark Williams, however, has, as always, a very interesting piece on this. It's a really long, in-depth piece. I thoroughly recommend going into it in detail. He talks about what he calls format convergence, and that is exactly what it sounds like. The fact that we are used to thinking of print books, ebooks, audiobooks, but nowadays increasingly we're having companies who are sort of merging those experiences so that, well, like Page Match, you've got the audio and the physical book combined. You've got now this immersion reading. Mark says, Audible's reassurance that royalty payments will be unchanged for immersion reading is notable precisely because it was necessary to state, and that's a really important point. And he is sort of, I think, taking the view that that's great, but don't expect it to last. And I think that's probably true. And whilst we would welcome anything that preserves rights for rights holders, it is clear that readers are increasingly expecting to be able to flip between formats and to have two formats going at one time. And at some point they are going to say, hang on a minute, I thought I'd already paid for this thing, and not quite understand the difference between paying in one format, paying in another. Why would I need to pay twice? I am just buying a book. Also, of course, we have people who are used to buying, or maybe I'm showing my age, aren't I? Used to buying a CD and being given the right to rip the MP3 at the same time as the CD. If you buy one, you get the other. So there is this consumer expectation that you pay once for the creative content and not necessarily expecting that you will have to pay in different formats. So for the time being, Audible Immersion is allowing rights holders to sell their rights separately and retain royalties on all those rights. Whether that continues to be the case remains to be seen. And if I had a crystal ball, one thing I would say is I am pretty sure there will be people at London Book Fair who are going to be talking about precisely this issue. So do look out for my coverage of that in a couple of weeks' time. And in the meanwhile, I'm going to go out and enjoy the sunshine. And I look forward very much to speaking to you soon. Thank you.
You've been listening to Self-Publishing with ALLi, proudly sponsored by PublishMe, helping indie authors succeed globally with expert translation, tailored marketing and publishing support. From first draft to international launch, PublishMe ensures your book reaches readers everywhere. Visit publishme.me, and if you haven't already, we invite you to join our association and become a self-publishing ally. You could do that at allianceindependentauthors.org.